I decided to hop in and film a quick video about what just happened with the Errant missile striking Poland. This is a pretty big deal. And this is going to be a quick video getting you up to speed and hopefully calming the community down in the process. I already know what's going to happen next in this community. Everybody's going to get worked up. They're going to freak out. There's going to be some videos that will come out talking about this is it. This is World War III. We're going to get nuked, yada, yada, yada. And the same same content that we've been hearing for the last several months, but this is going to be, I think, an excuse to ramp it up. And I'm doing this video to hopefully calm everyone down. Look, this is a severe situation. What just happened, it changes things at a certain level, but let's just, again, try to calm down. Let's take a step back and look at this rationally and reasonably. Now, that doesn't always apply to situations where wars start, but I think there's enough that we can cover to hopefully kind of pull back and look and see how this is a little bit different. And before I give my take on this, here's what we know at the time of recording this video. Right now it's 2:43 p.m. PST. What is believed to be an Russian missile was originally targeting Lviv, and instead, it's a Ukrainian city. Instead, it sailed across the Polish border, fell into a town in Poland, hitting grain dryers and killing 2 people. The Russian Ministry of Defense, of course, denied that the missiles were theirs, saying no strikes were made against targets near the Ukrainian Polish state border by Russian weapons. That's their official stance on this. This, despite the fact that there was a recorded 100 missiles fired from Russia on Ukrainian cities just a few hours before, many of which impacted the original city Lviv. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. And this particular missile, the one that went into Poland, it instead landed 40 miles into Polish territory. And while pundits will try to argue against evidence and try to paint this as a type of false flag event implemented by Ukraine to draw NATO into the conflict, the more obvious is exactly as it appears. An errant Russian missile struck a NATO nation where an attack on one is considered an attack on all. So that's where this is a pretty heavy and severe situation. And at the end of the day, it won't matter where the missile came from, as it will draw more and more countries into the conflict. Now, Poland, as you know, is a full NATO member. We're a full NATO member. They can invoke Article 4 or Article 5 as a result of this attack. And undoubtedly, they will invoke Article 4, which calls for allies to consult together when, in the opinion of one of them, the territorial integrity, political independence, or security of any of the parties is threatened. And this is definitely going to happen even as Warsaw confirms the ownership of the missile. So Article 5 is a little trickier, though. Article 5 states that an attack against one NATO ally is considered an attack against all allies. If it was a Russian missile and it can be traced back to Belarus or Russian territory as its point of origin, for some NATO members, it still wouldn't be considered a deliberate attack. It may and hopefully just be considered an errant missile. So, having said that, what happens next? And again, at the time of recording this video, it appears, as far as we know, and information will clearly hopefully come out as time goes on, that this was not intentional. And yes, I realize that mistakes that were not intentional can lead to war. But here's the reality. Nobody wants a direct confrontation between the superpowers. It's too close to nuclear annihilation. So my take, and this is my take, is that there's really, again, I'm not, reducing the severity of what happens, but on the flip side, I don't think this rises to, all right, let's pop off the war because of a missile that was targeting a Ukrainian city that we've been observing for the last several hours. And it's like, well, one went across accidentally. Does it appear intentional? But again, I know these things can be tricky, and even non-intentional things like this can lead to bigger issues. So, of course, what happens next? We can probably expect that Russia, their fleet in the Black Sea, will probably take more losses from British technology that's been used to damage and destroy a lot of these ships. You can expect probably an increase of sabotage behind Russian lines, like we saw with the Crimea Bridge. Was the U.S. involved with that? Who knows? But I expect that we'll continue to see these type of remote events on the Russian side, on their military continue. So the big question is here: am I worried that this is a spark that starts it all? And you're going to hear this a lot in the community over the next probably several hours. If I haven't looked at some of the channels, I know this is probably going to be the big talking point right now. But do I think this is what starts it all? No. But it does put Putin in a tough position with these blunders. It moves everything closer to the edge, which is not what we need right now. Do I believe cooler heads will prevail? I think so. And honestly, I'm not getting worked up by this, and I would encourage you to not either. I was even going to record this video. I had some plans. I had to be out of the office in a few minutes. That's why I keep looking at my watch. But I figured, hey, why not? Let's just sit down and talk about this real quick. What do you think? Are there any winners in this conflict, or do you feel like this is going to turn into a situation where this will just continue to escalate to a point of no return? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, but as always, I would encourage you, calm down. We're going to look back at this in the next 24 to 48 hours and be like, well, that was not a good situation, but did it rise to the occasion of starting World War III? I don't think so. Not in the sense of this, sparks off a bunch of nuclear retaliation or anything like that. But clearly it's not a good situation, so we'll continue to monitor it. And if anything continues or escalates, I'll definitely let you know. As always, stay safe out there.